come, you say you will when you won't. Oh, baby, do, baby, when you don't. Let me know, honey, how love feels. Is the truth now? Is love real? Honey, don't.
Good morning. It's September 29th, 2009. I'm Tom Remington, and you've tuned into another episode of Open Air with Tom Remington. Glad you could join me. Hey, got to tell you a story that happened a long time ago. These two fellas, two farmers they lived on opposite ends of their town, way out in the country, of course. And on occasion they would come into town maybe to get some supplies or whatever. And Ed lived on one side of town, and Mo lived on the other side of town. And they met up with each other at the farmers' union one day. And Ed says to Larry, Larry says, my horse is sick and I don't know what to do. And Larry says, well, gee, glad you asked. He said, a couple of weeks ago, he said, I had a sick horse, and he says, I gave him a charge of citronella. Try that. So Ed went home, and he gave his horse a charge of citronella, and the horse died. Well, a couple of weeks went by, and lo and behold, Ed and Mo ran into each other again at the farmers' union, and Ed says to Mo, he says, Ed, I gave my horse the citronella like you told me to, and he died. And Larry says, yeah, mine did too. And, it's a silly story, but, there's sometimes you wonder, when it comes to healthcare issues, if you, sometimes what's considered the cure might not be as good as the disease you're trying to cure. But anyway, that was sort of a poor attempt at leading into what I was going to talk about today, which is really about, in the state of New York, the government there is going to force healthcare workers to be inoculated for flu, both normal, whatever the flu that goes around, what they say goes around in the wintertime, a normal flu virus, and the politically correct H1N1 or the swine flu, vaccination. And they say if those workers who refuse to take it will be fired. And, of course, that's, causing a firestorm, and, one would expect that, right? I mean, it's like there's kind of, I see this as kind of, two issues. One is, have we got nothing left for rights in this friggin' country? Nothing? I mean, don't we get to decide on anything anymore? I mean, how long is it going to be before I got to get a permit to go to the bathroom, for crying out loud? So here we have, the government's going to force people to take this thing. Now, they don't know that much about the disease. They don't know that much about the vaccine that they've created for it. This is the swine flu. Nor do they ever really know for sure when they create a vaccine for the flu thing, but they're going to force you to take it anyway. Now, history says that a certain percentage of people are going to have a reaction to any type of an inoculation and get really sick and or die. But we don't get to have that choice. Now, granted, sure, we all live in this world together, and we can transmit, flus and viruses and that sort of stuff, but that's, if you don't want to contract these things, then stay at home and wash your hands 24/7 and just don't ever worry about that sort of thing. And I understand the situation. Well, these people are healthcare workers, and they're in the, they're in the hospital taking care of the patients, and they don't want to, contaminate the patients. And I understand that whole principle, but give me a break. I mean, are you really going to, is it going to amount to that much by doing this? So one, you're just denying people the choice Now, I guarantee if they were talking about abortion, they wouldn't even consider this thing. You know, well, we're going to force everybody not to have an abortion. You know, oh, they'd be, you know, right up in arms here. You can't take away a person's choice when it comes to deciding whether to murder babies or not. You know, so it's totally ridiculous. It's all about control. So they want to take away people's choice, decide what they want to inject in their body. Okay, what if a person is allergic to this sort of stuff? Now, I'm a person, I have allergies to a lot of different medications, and they make me very, very sick, and I've almost died from it before. But, you know, but that's different. But look at it this way. Just set the rights issue aside for a moment and think about the health care industry that's promoting this, okay? You know, they've already came out and said that there are some indications that maybe taking the H1N1 inoculation is going to make you more susceptible to the regular flu. They're just not quite sure. But you know what? The people in the healthcare industry don't want to take this. I mean, some of them do, and they're willing to do it, and others aren't. Some because it's a rights issue, and some because it's a health issue. Now, these are the people, right? These are the people who are educated in health. They should understand better than most people about what is good for you and what isn't good for you. And they don't want to take this thing. Okay, what does that say? You know, so what are they going to do? I mean, Massachusetts already passed this thing, you know, about, you know, the governor has all this power now that he can, you know, mandate this and mandate that should the flu get out of control, as he wants to call it. Where does this all end? Where does this all end? You know, somebody threw out, you know, you remember back in the 70s, what was the flu that was going around? They inoculated. There was more people who died from the inoculation than the flu itself. You know, and some, you know, in intelligentsia from New York says, well, we're not living 30 years ago. Well, you're right. We're not living 30 years ago. We're living today, and today we have more things available to us to take care of somebody who does get the flu, and they can't let it run the normal course. You know, so leave the choice up to the people. For crying out loud, you know, you want to take everything away from us. And we're sick of it. You know, people are going to take to the streets in New York. They already have a rally planned today, you know, against it. You know, and people say, oh, what's the big deal? Well, you know, it is a big deal. You know, for me, my rights is a big deal. Hey, that's my comment for today. Glad you joined me, and we'll see you next time right here on Open Air with Tom Remington.
How come you say you will when you won't? Oh, baby, do, baby, when you don't. Let me know, honey, how love feels. Here's the truth now, is love real?